Wait a minute. I think I've already seen this video. Oh, haven't I? I delayed releasing the third Jujutsu episode video so much that the next episode came out less than a day later. As a responsible man who learns from mistakes, I'm bringing you the new Jujutsu Kaisen episode as soon as possible. This episode, I hope, will make me feel just as happy or even happier than the previous one did, which I doubt because, well, I don't think the damn cat can come up with something better than the Bolivian shark. Honestly, the little story with Nagata and Torinosuke was good. I wouldn't say the episode was bad. Anyway, I won't ramble, or we'll be here all week, and the video will drop just before the next episode, which would be very bad and irresponsible on my part. Something never seen before on this channel, right? It turns out that the adult in charge of the kids, whose name I won't bother to learn, reveals a chilling truth. Maru is an alien. Wow, that's shocking news, sir. I'm so surprised, though everyone already knew. There, the adult tells them he was ordered not to reveal that information. But because he was informed that Maru was starting to show signs of being an alien, he was forced to inform them. Of course, that little detail of suddenly growing a third eye, well, that's not very human. Not very human at all, let's be honest, right? The adult assures them they'll keep doing missions as usual, but now Maru will join them. They never confirm if he's authorized to interfere. I'll assume he is, but most likely he won't use that weird third eye. Because of everything about the bond with his brother and all that was mentioned in the previous episode, Maru is really happy to officially join missions. But his new teammates seem more interested in checking their futuristic holographic bracelets than in noticing his happiness. Impressive social commentary. Maru, the foreigner, is eager to meet his new teammates in person and speak politely. His teammates, distracted by technology, focus on screens instead of talking with Maru. This is an obvious critique of one of the biggest problems in our current society, and that is obviously that every day the price of a kilo of meat keeps getting more expensive. My God, but have you noticed how expensive meat is? Damn it. Now, seriously, enough with the forced jokes about this being a social critique. Some people will actually think I'm serious. Damn it. Though the adult whispers formally to Maru, he still asks Suguri for all the information she has on his Sumerians, no matter how trivial it is. For example, what toilet paper do they prefer? That's important, since he can't question him directly in his position. Suguri recalls that Maru revealed an important secret just a chapter ago, but stays silent. Also, since the adult can't join, it'll just be the three of them for now. It's revealed that Maru, following Japanese custom, apologizes by bowing, which can mean three things. Did Maru just copy humans, or does Gege believe everyone apologizes that way? With his head to the ground, he doesn't know another way? Or the most interesting thing is that this small and subtle gesture could be a clue about the theory that aliens actually arrived on Earth a long time ago. And it was them who not only populated Japan, but they were also the ones who created sorcery as such. That would explain why the Japanese seem like aliens. Damn, I think that was the most racist thing on this channel, right? Damn. You know, because of the whole thing about sorcery being exclusive to Japan. Above all, the unique, strange look of his birthplace and the marks on his body. The mission is to investigate an elementary school after reports of a child repeatedly repeating first grade and frightening teachers. And meanwhile, Maru is pouring water on a toad. Just randomly like that. This sequel to Jujutsu Kaisen keeps going further, showing things I never expected from the series. That's right, I'm talking about mundane conversations between our group of protagonists. They may appear empty, but actually reveal their personalities and reinforce them. The idea that these guys are characters, not just plot devices. Hasn't he done it? An anime filler. Ooga booga? I love it. Because the conversation comes up when Yuka questions the mission, since maybe all of this is just about several guys who look alike. They confirm to her that the guy's the same based on his height and voice. But Suguri says that if their bone structure is similar, their voices should be too. As a result of this, Yuka asks about the bone structure of the Sumerians, and Maru says that they are very similar to humans. And finally, Yuka asks him how old he is. And he says that in Earth terms, he is 19 years old. These two immediately ignore that information. Well, if they took that into account, Maru would be the oldest of the three. Literally, they said they wouldn't pay attention to it. The faces Maru makes sometimes are something else. Even though the school tried to contact the boy's mother, they only heard nonsense over the phone. No, but what chainsaw?
Part 2, what a mess there is. There are pages, chainsaw, what's going on? And the
The boy's modus operandi is that when he's about to move on to second grade, he transfers to another house. And on top of that, every year the student is registered under a different name. They deduce that a cursed user is impersonating the boy and using him as bait in a rental property. They use families as alibis to repeatedly attend school and maintain their facade. So, seeing everything that's happening and that a cursed user is surely involved. Mino, unlike the adult from before, tells him that although the mission was meant for investigation, they'll likely end up in combat. So Yuka and Mino go together by car to the house currently registered under the boy's name. Meanwhile, Suguri and Maru wait outside the school to intercept him. Maru then asks if they could just sneak in and be done with it. But Suguri knows that if the enemy discovers them, they'll have to fight. And it would be dangerous to fight against a cursed user with so many children around. They intercept the boy, but since Suguri has the Oichi in his veins, he can't even act friendly when asking the boy's name, so the latter runs away. Maru asks Suguri if he knows his face is scary and politely tells him to shut up. In the end, they almost catch him when the boy falls, but a monster appears to protect him. A cursed spirit resembling a weaver with needles in his head, much like Pinhead from Hellraiser. Suguri, sword in hand, prepares to fight and tells Maru to step back. My buddy realized it when the adult secretly asked him to gather information about Maru. It's clear that the extraterrestrials are the ones in control of the situation, which is more than obvious. Like, a group of beings shows up whose powers you don't know, but just by looking at them, you can tell that a couple of them could wipe out an entire army. Also, the current quality of sorcerers is just decent. Honestly, scared doesn't even cover this situation. Imagine having to face the 300 Spartans with, I don't know, a rock split in half, and also adding what he said before in the forest. He deduces that Maru, not only does he have the duty to gather information to see the possibilities of coexistence between species, but also to determine the nature of humans. In short, the aliens haven't disintegrated the planet because they don't want to. Something that becomes obvious once again because if they have the technology to travel through space like that, it's very likely they also have the technology to kick our asses. Suguri doesn't want Maru to interfere because she wants to protect him from getting hurt, since the main goal now is to prevent a war with the aliens. After all the paranoia, things calm down when the boy apologizes and reveals he found his mother unconscious 3 years ago. He begged his mom to let him stay in first grade because he didn't want to move up. Damn, this kid really has Peter Pan syndrome, huh? Then, without warning, his mother became a ghost and has kept him in first grade ever since. Suguri realizes this situation is nearly identical to what he experienced with his grandfather, Yuta, in the past. Remember, what happened to him was falling in love with Rika. Seeing her get run over and die, he screamed inside, not wanting her to die. And it was that surge of intense emotions that awakened his innate powers and, at the same time, cursed Rika. So something similar probably happened to this guy. Seeing his mother, his emotions, and fear of advancing to second grade triggered his powers, cursing her. To confirm, Suguri asks the boy to take him home. Meanwhile, Yuka and Mino arrive there too. Or at least that's what it seems, since both Yuka and Suguri manage to uncover something chilling in the house. And that is the boy's mother's corpse. Suguri and Maru try to comfort the boy, understanding how hard it was for him to bury her. Now that he's alone, he believes what they say. He will be held by the technical school and trained to control his cursed energy, though he disagrees and wants to return home. Then, Maru starts to empathize with him because, to our surprise, he doesn't have anywhere to go either. His familiar landscapes and memories are gone, leaving a void he may never fill. Or at least that's how it will be until he becomes someone's companion. The Nakama, as the young people would say. I don't remember if they mentioned it at any point, but it would make sense that the reason why the aliens come to Earth is precisely because their planet went to hell, and they're looking for a new home, and hey, luckily, as they're searching for a new place to live, they're trying to go the peaceful route. Rather than saying, you come here and pull my finger, I tell Mr. Alien, I don't want your finger and I'll give you your home. Come.
Daddy, nobody's gonna see us from the planet. This planet is it's really nice, Daddy. Like I want to like stay on this planet. So
Maru tells him, super excited, that from now on he will be his new partner and that he will do his best to be his. Suguri gives a small smile. Look at him, making slow emotional progress. But really, not like you, huh? Potentially, but I don't want to jinx it since they tried to give Megumi something at first and, well, it turned out as it did. Something unexpected happens, and that's that Yuka calls Suguri on the phone because Why does he call her on the phone? Aren't they in the same house as Kamine? Even him? If he wants to tell her something, well, the thing is, dear viewer, they were never in the same house. She calls to ask where they are, and he says they're with Maru at the guy's house. She responds they're there too, and she tells him that the guy is totally Guilty. I lied, I'm bad, I lied, I'm good. Again. Since while these two were burying the body, Yuka and Mino literally found 5 corpses at one of the guy's addresses. I mean, the guy was actually luring families and then eating them to use it as a cover. Just make it through the first year nonstop. Silly motivation. After discovering the secret, he tells his brother to stop him immediately if they get the chance. The boy knocks out Maru, revealing the child was just a mask all along. Thus ends this week's chapter. Not bad at all. I expected the episode to be a standard standalone story where they help the boy discover himself. Turns out this guy is actually a psycho who kills people. Families looking for a place to rent so they can have an alibi to keep attending the first year. First off, I won't claim I saw it coming, but from his introduction, it was clear he was comfortable with his actions. When his guru Maru met him, he seemed guilty or sad, especially after what happened with his mother. At the start of the episode, he's shown overly happy, attending classes even as his teacher looks at him in panic. They also start laying the groundwork for a possible internal conflict between humans and aliens. With the whole topic, seeing that they have a bunch of hydrogen bombs with possibly hostile intentions. And also, I like the development they're giving to his kid, connecting him more with Maru. You can see that for now, he doesn't have a huge affection for him. A bond is slowly being formed with him, even allowing him to keep important secrets with this man. Plus, keeping him safe also helps prevent an interplanetary war, but that doesn't change that in every episode. They seem to get closer. We'll have to see what happens with the kid, because with that sudden satanic spirit, he could have disintegrated, or at least fought those two. But who knows, maybe he has a fetish for doing something to them before killing and burying them, and that's why he didn't kill them on the spot. Who knows, we'll also need to see what was said about creating a cursed spirit from emotional impact, like Utah did, because, well, we've already seen that that's not very reliable. Another thing I really hope they do in the sequel is give a little more importance to the people who accompany the main characters. Yes, Mino is literally the guy in a suit who only gives missions to the guys and doesn't have any powers or anything, or at least not any that are useful in combat. But I think you can give some importance to this kind of character in the story. And I have to say that for now, the series is keeping a more than respectable pace. In just 4 episodes, we've already experienced 4 different adventures. Although this is the first to span multiple episodes, it reflects well on the story. The current path makes the characters feel real, not just like placeholders, empty vessels. Surprisingly, Yuka has made the least progress in the last 3 episodes, and honestly, I'm glad. They changed Suguri from a bitter, edgy guy to someone serious who shows emotions when he wants. It's been a good episode. We'll see what happens next week. Maybe we'll get a plot twist. Yuji is still alive, even as an old man, and can still fight, but who knows? Still, she's told us several times that Yuji doesn't matter. Yuta was tough on Maki, stayed with his childhood ex, led the clan, and his descendants now star in the story. I don't understand why there's so much hate towards Yuji, but yeah, in the end, Yuta was really the main character. Anyway, good night.